Hey everybody, it's Chris back with another review for the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet. If this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome. My name is Chris and I am the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet. I like to review craft beers, I like to drink craft beers, and I like to pay as little as possible. So most of the beers that I review on this channel are going to be in the $2 price range. Today's particular selection is a Canadian beer, and if I'm going to be completely honest, I really haven't had any good luck with Canadian beers. I'm not a fan of Molson, I'm not a fan of Labatt's. In fact, I'm loath to think of pretty much any Canadian beer that I've actually enjoyed. But today's Canadian beer is a staple as soon as you see it. Yeah, those of you who are familiar with beers are going to say, oh yeah, of course. Even those of you who aren't familiar with beers are probably going to recognize the Moosehead Canadian Lager. Oh, I did the wrong side. There we go. Put the side with the actual Moosehead on it. Moosehead Canadian Lager, established 1867, making it just as old as the country of Canada. Now for this pint can, I paid $1.84. There was some kind of sale going on at Total. Normally this would be $1.99. It 13 of uh, I'm sorry, 30 of my friends on Untapped have given this a cumulative score of 2.71, which is actually pretty low, and 64,000 have given it a cumulative score of 3.09. Beer Advocate has 1,485 reviews of it, giving it a cumulative score of 3.05 on their scale that is okay. This beer does have 5% ABV, 13 IBUs, and now when I go to BJCP, which is Beer Judging Certification Programs app, to look up the statistics, for lack of a better term, on Canadian lagers, there's nothing for Canadian lagers, so I had to go to the international lager category. And an international category, excuse me, international lager usually has an ABV between 4.6 and 6.0. This is 5.0, putting it well within range. And the IBUs are usually between 18 and 25. The IBUs on this Moosehead Canadian Lager are, what did I say, 13? 13. So they're just a little below the average for an international lager. There's no brewed on date on this can, so I don't actually have any idea how old it is. However, it's and let me stress this too. I want to make a point of this. I went to their website. I did a little research. Turns out they're still a microbrewery. Despite the fact that for years I've been seeing Moosehead. Well, no, normally it's clocks in bars, but I've been seeing Moosehead for years and years. I mean, decades. Honestly, decades. And of course, since they were established in 1867, my entire lifespan, Moosehead has been making Canadian lager. This is in fact their flagship beer, but let me stress there is a distinction between successful and corporate. From what I read and what I came across, it does not appear as though the Moosehead Brewery Company is in the habit of going out and buying the competition, getting rid of the competition. Um, that's not what they're about. They're about perfecting and improving their own beers and expanding their varieties. So this is a classic case. New Belgium is my domestic example of what I like to refer to as successful, not corporate. There is an actual distinction. This is still a microbrewery. If you go to Untapped right now and look up the beer, you will see that they are still listed as a microbrewery. Going to their website, as I did, I discovered that they use Canadian two-row pale malt and their own lager yeast. So there you have it. The whole thing is Canadian, Canadian, Canadian. All right, let's see how this goes. Going to be using my Pilsner glass, looking up Beer Advocate. Pilsner glasses are perfectly acceptable for lagers. That's not a surprise. Pilsners are a type of lager. So this is pouring very, very pale. Very pale. And certainly not as much carbonation as you would have for a Pilsner. So this is about, yeah, I'd say this is lager's worth carbonation. Let's see if I can get that in. Yeah, you can see some of the bubbles. You are seeing roughly the color of the beer itself. Um, yeah, I can't, normally sometimes the color comes through darker on the camera, but this is actually, well, from what I see on the camera, you're seeing the actual color. Giving a beard wipe. Smell a little bit of oatiness. Let's bring it right straight to the nose and see what we can come up with for a bouquet. Boy, it sure smells like Pilsner yeast. There is a very distinct smell to Pilsner yeast, and I've got to say that that's got to be the it's got to be the basis of the yeast that they use for this. Mostly yeast, of course, a little bit of breadiness to it. I mean, when there's yeast, there's bound to be a bready or oaty smell to this. Now, this head seems to be sticking around, even though I'm giving it a few swirls. I'm not seeing a whole lot of bursting of bubbles on the top. So this does seem to be a nice creamy foamy head. And I'm not really getting anything more on the bouquet. As the air gets to it and a little time passes, sometimes you get new or different things on the bouquet. I can't say I'm getting anything new on this one. So I think I'm just going to dig into it and start drinking. Cheers. Well, it is a lager. I'm going to describe it as a low mouthfeel. No alcohol burn, really. It's crisp. It's okay. I think it's a little better than Budweiser, but not much. There's It's okay. It really is okay. Out of all the Canadian beers that I've had, I gotta say this one is the one I like the best. It's as clean and crisp as you would expect a lager to be. It's not particularly noteworthy. What the hell? I think I'll give it a 3.25. That seems fair. 3.0 for the beer, 0.25 for coming in a can. Uh, As I said before, I've been looking at this beer forever. Honestly, it kind of makes me wonder what took me so long to even try this beer out. Maybe it's the fact that I just didn't like the Canadian beers that I'd had before. But so far, this has got to be my favorite Canadian beer. There's not a lot to it. It's uh, it's not particularly noteworthy, but oh no, it's not a bad beer. And considering it's a $1.99 for an entire pint. In fact, if it's on sale like mine was, it was $1.84. So, all in all, that's not a bad beer. Certainly not going to make it into my top 10 beer selection, but nonetheless, a good beer anyway. So, if you like this video and you like other videos, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, gang, drink good beer. Don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.